Welcome to our video, Romeo and Juliet, how the most famous love story came to be. Let's start with the story. We have two houses that share a wall. In one, a girl. In the other, a boy. And of course, they love each other. But their families are enemies, so their love is forbidden. They decide to meet outside the city. But there, she sees a lion who had just killed its prey. So, of course, she runs away. But her veil is left behind. The boy arrives at the meeting place and he sees the lion too. Its mouth bloody and nearby the girl's veil. He believes her dead. Stricken with grief, he kills himself. The girl comes back, hoping the lion has left, sees the dead boy, and kills herself as well. Two dead bodies. Sounds familiar? Actually, this is the story of Pyramus and Thisbe, written by Ovid, a poet from Rome. 200 years later, in Greece, Xenophon wrote another tale. Again, we have a girl, a boy, and they love each other. Happily, their union is celebrated, but they are sent away to avoid a curse. Well, to make a 5-book long story short, they meet pirates, are enslaved, try to avoid other people's love and offers of marriage, threaten to kill themselves, or are threatened to be killed. They are kidnapped and robbed. They are sent to Egypt at different times, and yet somehow met in Italy again, where they can finally start living their lives together. This is the only time that the story has an happy ending, I'm afraid. A few centuries later, sad love stories are all the rage. Boy, girl, love, and they never end up together. A few are still popular today, though. A few centuries later, we get to the Renaissance, where everything speeds up. Meet Tommaso Guardarti. He wrote Il Novellino, a set of 50 short stories. Number 25 is the story of Mariotto and Ganosa. Again, a girl, a boy, and love. This time, we don't have two families who hate each other, but somehow they still get married in secret. Unfortunately, Mariotto gets in a fight and clubs his rival to death. He is banished for it, and he decides to go to Alexandria in Egypt. Ganosa decides to wait for him. But her father gets frustrated as she refuses all suitors for apparently no good reason. She goes to her trusted friar, who gives her a potion that will make her seem dead. Then she takes a ship to join her husband in Alexandria. However, Mariotto hears that Ganosa is dead and takes a ship back home. He goes into the church where she's buried, only to be caught and sentenced to death. Meanwhile, Ganosa realizes that Mariotto has left Egypt, comes back home, sees him dead, and dies herself. Dante, an Italian writer of the 13th century, is famous for writing the Divine Comedy, in which he describes what happens to the souls that go to the purgatory or even to hell. And who do we find in one circle of the purgatory? The Montecchi and Capuletti. There weren't two families, as we might suppose, but they were more like two political parties, one supporting the Pope and the other the Emperor. Salernitano's tale and Dante's collide in Luigi da Porto's rendition of the story. Luigi is the first to include the names of Montagues, Capulets, but also Romeo and Juliet, and placed the action in Verona. His Romeo and Juliet was adapted by Matteo Bandello, another Italian. His tale was translated into French by Pierre Stuato. And that translation was used by Arthur Brooke, an Englishman, for his own version of the story. Romeo and Juliet also appears in The Palace of Pleasures by William Painter. And we know that these two versions were on Shakespeare's desk as he wrote his own. And that's how you get a famous love story.